Hey, what's up, everyone? DREAGEN back again, here to tell you that you should be watching I Am Not a Serial Killer. So, I Am Not a Serial Killer is a 2016 film that is based off a book by the same name and basically follows this young boy in this small town where essentially he's being treated for a certain array of mental disorder. It is implied that perhaps he is in fact something of a sociopath, which is a kind of form of psychopath, and it's kind of his dealing with how to basically be a normal teenager, how to function in society as a regular person while having this what some people consider this unnatural disconnect with everyday people. It is a battle for him to feel, to be able to interact with other people and be able to relate to people on a basic level, something that most of us would just take for granted, but for him requires great effort. And one of the ways he perhaps deals with these kind of potentially dangerous behavioral tendencies that he likes to study serial killers. He likes to learn about their MO, learn about their practices, not because he really admires them, but because he wants to understand and dissect their way of thinking, because he feels that he might go down that road, should these behavioral qualities that he possesses go unchecked. And he works with a therapist that they talk and they go back and forth and they kind of break down what it is he is, how he feels, how that makes him feel, and how he wants to react based on how he feels. His family's mother works in a funeral home, so he's constantly being exposed to dead bodies and things of that sort. So he's very desensitized to any kind of imagery of death or mutilation. He's not fazed by blood or anything like that. Now, there start being some killings in his small town, murders, and so right away his interest is piqued. He starts trying to read about these murders, understand them, try to figure out kind of an MO of this potential murderer, this serial killer. And basically it starts to piece together that there's something odd about the nature of how they work. And, long story short, basically figures out that whatever is doing the killing, is in fact not human. And he discovers this when he begins to suspect his neighbor, who is played by Christopher Lloyd, by the way. For those of you who are familiar with Back to the Future, that's Doc Brown. And basically follows him out one day to a frozen lake where he kills a man. And he sees him kill a man in a very inhuman capacity and realizes that not only is his neighbor a serial killer, but also inhuman. But he begins to become curious as to why he's doing the killing, because this creature seems to be feeding on parts of humans, almost as if he is in need of them. And the strange thing is, this man he's known for so many years, pretty much all his life, is married to a lovely woman, has always been a very sweet person. So he's trying to figure out, what is he? What is the motivation? How can he be this creature, this thing, this killer, this predator, while being this loving husband? And basically, that's what this story is. It's about saying, all right, it's about taking two characters, one who is human, who is afraid of becoming a monster, and a monster who is trying very much to be human. And it is the question of why. What are the reasons for denying perhaps what you actually are? And the answer in the case of this movie, it seems to be love. This young man loves his mother very much, wants to make his mother proud, doesn't want to hurt his mother, doesn't want to disappoint her, so is working so hard not to become this monster, this killer, and goes out of his way to do things as normal as he can, engage in normal human behavior, so in hoping that it'll rub off enough to the point where it will no longer be simulated behavior, but literally something that is him, something that he actually is, doing something because he wants to do it, because he feels like he wants to, not because he feels he has to do it. Whereas this creature is essentially killing to live so he can remain with the woman he fell in love, the woman who never saw the monster but saw the guise he was hiding in and loved it, and taught him how to love, taught him how to feel love. And now it's something he doesn't want to give up. He doesn't want to be the monster. He wants to be the man she fell in love with. the man that he, that allows him to feel something for this woman that he would have never been able to feel had he just been what he is. And so he kills in secret, he kills in hiding so he can sustain his own body, so he can continue to live, so he can be there for her, while this young man essentially tries to do the opposite. So he doesn't lose his mother. So he doesn't disappoint the person who loves him, the person who's invested so much of themselves in him. And it's this interesting dichotomy. They're both just trying to figure it out. That's the crux of the story. They're both just trying to figure out, how do we be who we want to be as opposed to what we actually are. One is a monster trying to be a man. The other is a man trying not to be a monster, basically. And they're both so afraid of slipping completely. And that's what makes this a very interesting story. And what kind of makes these both very relatable characters, because we both have a dark side that we try to ignore. We both try to be better people, or we all try to be better people usually for somebody else, whether it's your wife, your husband, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your children, your parent, whatever. For most of us, there's somebody, at least in our lives, who we aspire to be better than we feel we actually are, because we see how it makes them happy. And it is to make them happy that gives our life some purpose, some direction. And it's just a great allegory in this story of seeing these two potentially dangerous creatures, and they both are dangerous, except one comes from one end of the spectrum, the other comes from the other end. But in the end, they're both fighting to hold on to what they have, just in different ways. And that's basically what this story is about. So, I Am Not a Serial Killer. Have you seen it? We will probably discuss the book on the You Should Be Reading series, so be on the lookout for that. But give me some of your thoughts. If you've seen it, what do you think? Do you feel the allegory is appropriate? Did you find it as kind of interesting and maybe even surprising, as I did? If you haven't seen it, I'll leave some links in the description section below where you can pick it up so you can check it out for yourself. You can come back, give me some thoughts, let me know what you thought. And we'll catch you on the next one, guys. Peace!